Keep upping your standards or you will fall behind. I'm Dom Jackson, David A. Media, and this is the 7-Day Scoop Show, my weekly show where I document my career and decisions that I'm making. If you have a venture trying to pursue, I use my story and my adventures to help motivate and teach you. Now, it's so easy to fall behind into the massive average, so you have to finally find new ways to stand out and get past where you were before. So you have to keep innovating ways to evolve and grow. With that, my current venture, still trying to get my van with Car Keys Express. This week I hit 290 out of 500 points, which is lower than what my standard needs to and should be. And with that, today I actually went through and looked at all my numbers from my entire time of doing this. And I did my average, but put it on ChatGPT, all the numbers I've done every single week. And I found out that my average is only like 380. 380, 500 is the standard that I'm trying to hit consistently. And my average is 380. In my head, I thought I was more like a 420, maybe a 450 average. I looked at that and I was like, holy smokes. Holy smokes. I'm way worse than I thought I was, which is cool. I'm always like about to climb and then come up and try to get to the next level. So it was good for me to see that, the actual data on myself. Because in my head, I thought I was way better. Like I'll be hot for like 2 or 3 weeks and then I kind of go back to being like basic. And then I go back up and it's very fluctuating. And now I understand that like I need to be I just have to keep raising the standard to get to that level. Because when I'm hot, I think I'm gonna stay hot forever. And I don't stay hot forever, I cool down. And it hurt to see that, but it was good to see that because like, bro, this is where you really are. This is where you really rank. And it's cool. So with that being said, that was one of the big realizations of this week that like kind of just hit me. Because I thought I was really thinking that like you're better than you are, but you're not. Raise your standards to get better. And then people around you are gonna raise their standards too. So it ends up being a competition of like grow, which is really cool. And that's how life just is. You gotta get better at your shit. You have to find a way to compete at the next level and keep innovating and doing it. With that, I realized this week that I've been recording these every single week so I can go back in time and look at and see what things I was thinking, doing, and like all the habits I had when I was hot. What was I doing? Because I recorded every week and explained to you what I was doing, which is pretty cool. So now I have that information and data like just there for me. So one of the things that I did was that I converted a lot of my bills into the amount of money I have to make for them in sales. So I have actual like numbers in the field. So I don't have to actually do the math. It's like, oh, this is car payment, this is car insurance, this is rent, boom, 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 boom. And all these numbers are constantly being taken care of, or at least all these numbers are now top of mind in the actual sales component. Another big thing about raising your standards is, making sure that you are willing to put yourself in that new place and fail in that new place. I was watching a video and they were talking about learning to trust your gut and learning to trust your gut and be wrong. I think a lot of people say trust your gut and, try it out, put yourself out there. And it's always like, oh, what if this happens? No. Like go out there, do it, try it and lose and have like the worst case scenario happen to you when you actually do it. But then you learn like, oh, I can trust myself even if this happens. And having that mentality is one of the big things I've been trying to work on more out there, because definitely times my instincts like, yo, do this. But like, I don't do it. I just sit there and go, And when I do it, I do better in sales. But this is like a very much better life concept as well. But like getting the habit of just trusting your intuition and then following through with it. And even if it's not the interaction that you want it to happen, you now are more inclined to just trust and act on that thing and be okay with the consequences of it, because a lot of time it ends up being like the next chess move to something else. So I'm working on doing that more, and I've seen how it works for me in sales. So trusting it more is another big thing I'm going to be doing for sure. Then there's some times where we just work. There's some time we do some like optional work behind the scenes, and taking care of that when other people aren't doing it feels really good. Like at a certain point where you're like, oh man, like I really am glad that I'm putting the hours in that someone else is not putting in, because it feels like you're separating yourself from the pack. You just got to put that time in. And that was one of the things I did this week that I was like, oh yeah, this feels good. Like, this is how I'm gonna get ahead of everybody else. And just really being like, hey, this is that next step to get to that next standard, to raise your standards again. Now, with that, one of the biggest things that I added last week to help raise my standards, you can help raise yours, the daily checklist. I have a weekly checklist that I go through every single Monday, but the daily one's my new favorite thing that I'm doing, and I've stuck with it the entire week. I have like a couple of boxes I just check off, that do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. And I end up showing what I have to do for the entire week itself. And I also been like breaking down my thoughts each day and just writing down what I've learned and what I've seen. And it's like a live, open source journal vision of what I need to work on to keep me focused on the entire week itself. So I, last week I said I was going to try it out, but now I think I'm going to do it indefinitely, just because it gives me like, okay, where's the ball moving? What I need to focus on, where I need to go. Now, I did not do externally, the outcome goal didn't hit the goal I need to hit, but the actual steps of what I need to practice to get to that next step is what I actually got done. So, a lot of results don't just happen when you actually do them. You're setting up for yourself, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months from now with the little things you do today. Use a combination of that person from that time period before. Creating my system to keep the same sales standards no matter where I am, no matter what week it is. And I've been in this process of doing it, but now like having a way to keep myself in check with the daily system is one of the things that will help me out. But as always, raise your standards, keep it one step at a time. We get there day by day.